to the cue.
I thought there was actually going to be
Hi there. Hi,
real
I'm David
tape.
Ramsay. Nice to meet you all.
I'm Neal McDonough. Very nice to meet you guys.
I'm Emily Benricard. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, this is going to be
Blackthorne always has to win these things.
He does.
He does.
I have to say, David, your feet are enormous, by the way. Those are giant shoes.
Well, you know what they say.
Just going to break the ice with that one.
Big hands.
Those are the
Big
big
hands,
hands,
big
good
brain.
paddleboarding on those shoes, David.
All right, so before we get to the audience questions, I want to know a little bit about your characters in this season. Neal, I'll start with you. I must admit, when I was doing a bit of research...
He's not in the show anymore.
I was going to say...
Give it up for Legend!
Did this guy die?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, so with the magic of the multiverse, you're
Arrow
able to
was so
come back.
yesterday, by the way. Is that out loud? Was that out loud?
So you seem to be having some of the most fun of anyone because of your character and the whole aspect of you're able to come back. So what has that been like to essentially not die in the multiverse?
It's been fantastic. I mean, in all honesty, to start off on Arrow, these guys, the whole cast, the crew of Arrow, they set the tone for all the other shows, for Legends, for Flash, for Supergirl, for everything else. So without these guys, we wouldn't be here. So give a big, huge round of applause for these guys.
Oh, that's so nice. You so want to come back to Arrow.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love playing Damien Dark on Arrow was different. It was much more serious tone, where Legends is a little more goofier and fun. So for me, playing Damien...
Actually, Neal, can you just tell the people exactly what it's like, what you just did for us backstage? And Arrow is, and Legends is...
I mean, you work with Barrowman every day, things are going to happen, right? Things are going to happen.
Yeah, he's a menace.
We had that guy for 4 years.
Exactly. So it's been, and did anyone see this last week's episode of Legends? When I come back? I mean, come on, that was pretty awesome. To rise again, they thought I died, never. But it's such a blessing for me, my wife Reve, and all my children, Morgan, Catherine, London, Clover, and James are here.
Half the audience.
Half your children.
But there we go.
True. So for us to live up here in Vancouver, which we love, which we now consider home, it's been such a blessing, and to play Damien Dark with these guys and with the cast of Legends, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Oh, right on. And David, tell me about the struggle that your character is wrestling with this season. There seems to be an interesting arc there, based on the sort of events, the dramatic events from the end of last season.
I have no idea what you're referring to. Well, I guess, I don't know, Diggle's Arrow right now, right? You guys still know? But he's also on a...
That was professional stuff there, Ramsay. How to get an applause, huh? That was just...
But he's also on a performance-enhancing drug.
Right.
Yeah, because he's hiding a trimmer. He was injured during the explosion, during the events of the finale of season 5. So he's hiding that little secret, but it'll come out.
Yeah, and Paul, your character as well has some inner demons, shall we say, and he's still sort of struggling with that.
Inner demons?
Yeah.
Lance? Never.
Enough about Paul.
There's a lot of drama going on, I guess is what I'm getting at right now when the 6th season. So tell us about your character and what's happening with it right now.
Did you say he's in his 60s? What did you say? I can't hear anything down this end of the line,
6th season.
Oh, the 6th
Yeah.
season.
It's a mouthful.
Do you want me to tell you what happens in the 6th season? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what you can.
I can't tell you anything.
Fair enough.
It's great that you should tune in and watch it. It's lovely. I might have a daughter coming back from the dead or something at some point, I imagine. Look forward to that. It's never happened before.
I want to bring up something with you, by the way. I'm a huge Bollywood fan, and you were in the 2001 smash Lagan. What was it like to be part of a production like that?
British Raj, Hindustan ke barish se nahi nahata Rajaji. Pichhle saal aada Lagan be meri apki kana ba kabul kiya tha. Wo bhi deri se. Are there any Hindi speakers here this evening? This afternoon?
No, one over there. Did I see one there? Yeah.
So that was my Hindi.
I thought you were great in that role. It was tremendous ability.
Hindi.
I had to learn that. I had to learn that 17 years ago, and that's still stuck in my head.
Wow.
Yeah. But you've seen that show, that film.
Oh, it's great. It's
You
one
had
of
a
my favorites.
long day to yourself, didn't you? It was 3 hours, 48 minutes long, that film.
It was the longest cricket match in history.
Yes, it's true. It's a real seller, isn't it? It's about cricket and taxes, and it's almost 4 hours long. What do you big box, you're gonna love it. But it is actually an amazing film. It's beautiful.
All right, and Neal, I want to talk about one of your earlier projects as well. You see a lot of
Arrow is so serious. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. I do actually want to get serious for a second. You see a lot of poppies here today, and you're wearing one as well. We are, looking at Remembrance Day. We're recognizing that Veterans Day in the U.S. And Neal, you were part of Band of Brothers, and that was, that was one of the most well-crafted, harrowing looks at war I've ever seen. Never mind that it was on television, just in terms of entertainment and informative entertainment as well. What do you take away so many years later being a part of that show?
Well, I mean, for me, it was such an enormous blessing to be part of Band of Brothers. The best thing that, so many great things happened for me. To work with Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg and to get to meet the veterans and Buck Compton, who became like another father to me. But, you know, as the story goes and everyone knows, the best part about doing Band of Brothers was the very first day I got there, I got to meet my wife, Reve. So,
Wow, really?
What was Ruve doing there? I'm asking seriously. In what capacity was she there?
well, she was a supermodel and she was in
She was a
London.
supermodel.
She was. Everyone, my wife, Reve?
Was that why she was there?
Nice work.
I'm here because I'm a supermodel.
That's right. Is that what happens? It's not a bad thing, is it?
It's great, especially
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, especially for me.
The boy done good. That's
Ruve!
right.
Yeah, but on a serious side, it's, you know, this is an amazing weekend. You know, Fan Expo is a fantastic thing, and we get to talk about all the fun things that we do and the things that we love. But, you know, for Remembrance to be here, and my daughter Catherine, I was speaking about Remembrance Day to her class at school the other day, and, you know, these poppies, you know, it's not just a decoration. What it represents is the men and women who have fought since World War I, when it really started at Flanders Field. Written by a Canadian, by the way. It's a day that we should, or a weekend, and always we should remember what the men and women have done, because were it not for them, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today. We're here today, and we can go and look at all kinds of different things. We can say different things. We can believe in different religions. We can do whatever we want in life with freedom, because the men and women who fought for us gave us those freedoms. So, as I told my kids, especially this weekend, if you see someone who's in the service or know someone who's in the service, call them. Pick up a phone, or we see them on the street. Sometimes they're not doing it in such, you know, not great condition. Say thank you for your service, because without the work that they did, we wouldn't be sitting here in a beautiful place like this today. So thank you, whoever here was in the service. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Well said. And David, I love the work that you're doing on the show. I think it's some of your finest, and it's a multifaceted role for you. Tell me about how proud you are of the work on the show, and what it means for your career right now.
Well, I mean, this is a role of a lifetime for me. It's great. I mean, the writing's been very good. I think season 5 was a return to form on Arrow. I think it's been fantastic. It's nice to kind of we see a more mature Oliver. That's always nice, right? One that's kind of somewhat listening to other people. And it's nice to kind of get into some other facets of Diggle. Diggle's never really been seen this way before, so it's been a good season so far. And we're just on episode 10 now, so we have a lot more season left.
Okay, now there's this epic 4-show crossover that we're building to. Can you tell us any details about that? I mean, I hear it's going to be very emotional, so what can you tell us about that upcoming Arrowverse crossover?
Well, Paul had a lot more to do than I did. I didn't do a whole lot of it, but I sat in on the editing of our episode, which is episode 8. And the work that Melissa and Steven are doing particularly is really, really good. I think you guys are going to like them a lot in the show.
And Paul, do you have anything to add about
Well, you say it was emotional. I think it was emotional for the producers, actually, just trying to get that thing out there. You know, 4 hours crossover.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of tears, I have to say. I was involved in the. How much do people know about things? I always get nervous about this. I was in the Flash one. I mean, I don't think that gives away too much, does it? But in terms of the storyline, it wasn't what I was expecting. Let's just put it like that. When I got into my costume, I thought I was going for a costume fitting for Lance. And then when I got there, you'll see on the show, it was somewhat different. And I can't say anything more than that, but I was, there's not even a funny line to say here. I was just like, what the fuck am I wearing? Excuse the language. Sorry, Neal's kids. Ruby, earmuffs. Thank you. And lots of other people, please. There's lots. Yeah, it's definitely one to tune in for. It's not something you're expecting. The crossover shows. Very good.
Neal, very quickly, I'm a huge fan of this movie. Does anyone ever come up to you and cite Ravenous? Do you remember that flick?
Who here has seen Ravenous?
Yeah,
Both of you. Okay, great.
It's a cult classic.
So Ravenous was this film that absolutely tanked at the box office. It's a semi-funny romp about a bunch of guys eating each other in the Civil War. Hard one to sell.
And a huge cast in it as well.
But
It's almost as hard to sell as a 4-hour cricket, right?
Hey, you guys moved on to better things, right?
But Ravenous has become this cult classic, and it was, what a great cast with Robert Carlyle, David Arquette,
Guy Pearce. I just love that movie. My sister and I have a kinship with it.
Great cast, really?
Jeremy Davies, the music, ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding.
Damon Albarn from Blur co-wrote the music on it.
Really?
Yeah. It's worth checking out. It's a weird movie.
It was a great movie.
It's about the Wendigo, the Native American spirit that gets in...
And no one saw it.
Sorry?
And no one saw it.
Those two people saw it.
Those two saw it.
So thank you.
Well, yeah, hence the cult status. Okay, enough of my chatter. Let's get to the audience questions. We will start over here. Go ahead.